I'll be honest with you. I fought against writing this devotion today. Not that there's anything wrong with it, mind you. It's just very similar to a few other posts I've done lately. But obviously, God is trying to teach me, and maybe you, something, and repetition aids learning. So here we go.
Welcome to A Word Fitly Spoken with Christian author and Bible teacher, Dana Rongione.
Yesterday, as a close to our date day, Jason and I watched a movie called Rescued by Ruby. It was one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. I laughed and cried and just felt good all over. If you're a fan of dogs, feel-good movies, or rooting for the underdog, this movie is a must-see. I don't want to give too much away, but the movie's general plot was about Ruby, a stray dog who needed someone to provide her with a real chance, and a young police officer who needed someone to help him believe in himself. The characters shared a problem. They had allowed the world to define them. Ruby was labeled a bad dog because she didn't know how to obey and had a mind of her own. The officer was labeled slow and distracted because he was dyslexic and hyperactive. In the end, what they needed was each other. Part of what made me enjoy the movie so much was that I related to the two main characters. It's hard to shake a label. When people tell you something enough times, it sticks. It becomes a part of who you are whether you want it to or not. Growing up, I was the nerd. Yep, I was the oddball who enjoyed doing book reports, made straight A's, and even had a mom who taught at the same school I attended. With my red hair, bucked teeth, and glasses, I was an easy target for every bully roaming the school halls. On more than one occasion, I had to ask permission to go to the restroom to wash the whiteout, cruelly applied by one of the cool girls sitting behind me, out of my hair. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it was bad enough to leave a mark. Maybe that's why I prefer solitude instead of groups of people. Perhaps that's why I feel so uncomfortable in crowds. Maybe it explains why I always think everyone's looking at me and judging me. Yes, at times I still feel like that awkward teenager trying to maintain my integrity while also trying to fit in. In my devotion time this morning, the Lord reminded me that it doesn't matter how the world defines me. Their opinion does not matter. It's what He thinks of me that's important. And you know what? He thinks the world of me, and you too. Look at these verses defining who we are in Christ. Psalm 139:14 says, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. Psalm 139:17 and 18 says, How precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God! How great is the sum of them! If I should count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with thee. Psalm 40, verse 5 says, Many, O Lord, my God, are thy wonderful works which thou hast done, and thy thoughts which are to usward. They cannot be reckoned up in order unto thee. If I would declare and speak of them, they are more than can be numbered. Zephaniah 3:17. The Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. Psalm 18:19. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Psalm 37:23. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Psalm 147:11. The Lord taketh pleasure in them that fear him, in those that hope in his mercy. Psalm 149:4. For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. And Jeremiah 31:3. The Lord hath appeared of old unto me, saying, Yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore with loving kindness have I drawn thee. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. The Lord delights in me. He rejoices in me. He can't stop thinking about me. I'm not a loser. I'm not an oddball or a dork. I'm not too big an introvert to be a witness or too weak to be effective. God still has great plans for me. Others may not see it, but that's okay. They don't know the whole story, but God does. Therefore, I think I'll trust His opinion. What about you? Have you allowed the world to define you? Are you holding back because others have told you you're not good enough, smart enough, old enough, young enough, or strong enough? Please don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just doing what bullies do, talking big so they don't show just how cowardly they are. So what if you're the underdog? God can still use you, and He wants to. You may not believe in yourself, and that's okay. For now, believe in God. He'll take care of the rest.
You've been listening to A Word Fitly Spoken with Christian author and speaker, Dana Rongione. Dana is the author of over 20 books, inspiring and encouraging the old and young alike to find joy in serving Jesus. To find out more about Dana's ministry and to sign up for her devotional blog, visit danarongione.com.